Men often fear their enemies, yet it is their friends who sharpen the dagger. Tonight, I will reveal to you the faces of treachery disguised as loyalty. Many of you are chained, not by iron, but by companionship. Friends, who in truth are but parasites, are the silent architects of your downfall. The question we solve today is simple. How do you uncover and remove those who ruin your life under the guise of affection? Men fear the obvious enemy, the soldier who advances with steel, the rival who declares his hatred. Yet the most dangerous destroyer of lives does not march under a banner, nor wield a weapon. They sit beside you, smiling, laughing, breaking bread, while slowly carving pieces of your soul. Think carefully, for the problem we confront tonight is not born from the enemies you can see, but from the so-called friends you cannot. They arrive disguised in affection, in loyalty, in companionship. They call you brother, they call you sister, they call you their most trusted ally. And yet, their presence corrodes you, not in a single strike, but in 1,000 unnoticed cuts. This is the true peril, the danger that thrives not in the open field of battle, but in the quiet intimacy of friendship. Why do I say they are more dangerous than declared foes? Because the enemy outside the gates raises a flag, makes himself known, and in his openness, you are prepared. But the friend who feasts at your table, who walks with you in daylight, demands no armor and no suspicion. You lower your guard in the name of trust, and there, precisely, is where your ruin begins. Consider this. How many times have you excused the behavior of a companion, saying, "That is just how they are"? How many times have you tolerated disrespect, betrayal in small doses, and disguised malice, because you feared conflict more than decay? It is a universal weakness of men, to endure poison if it is delivered with a smile. This is why toxic friends, the wolves in the skin of sheep, succeed so magnificently in destroying lives. Let me speak to you as a strategist would to a prince. A ruler who fails to recognize the traitor in his court is doomed before the enemy even arrives at his walls. In the same way, you who tolerate such false friends are undermined before life's true battles even reach your door. Your strength is not lost in war, but in the subtle betrayals of those you trusted most. Every stolen moment of peace, every fragment of self-confidence eroded, every ambition mocked or diminished. These are victories your so-called friend claims at your expense. What problem then do we solve tonight? It is the problem of blindness. The blindness to those who claim they wish you well while secretly weaving a net around your neck. The blindness to their constant taking, their ceaseless envy, their small but endless sabotage. Many of you watching believe your struggles are born of the world outside. Bad luck, cruel circumstances, the hostility of strangers. But if you look closely, you may find that the heaviest burdens you carry are placed upon you by the very people you call friends. Understand, there are parasites that feed upon flesh, and there are parasites that feed upon spirit. The second is far deadlier, for it does not kill swiftly. It kills by turning you into a shadow of what you might have been. The toxic friend does not stab you once. He empties you slowly until ambition becomes exhaustion, until joy becomes bitterness, until confidence becomes hesitation. When you awake one morning wondering where your strength has gone, you will not remember the precise moment it was stolen. And that is their genius. Ruin delivered in silence, devastation disguised as care. This is why, in truth, the problem of toxic friends is more urgent than that of any enemy. For an enemy strengthens you through opposition, but a false friend weakens you through deceit. A prince grows sharp in the face of war, but he grows dull when surrounded by traitors in his council. In your life, too, the hidden adversary at your side does far greater damage than the stranger who opposes you. And here lies the cruelest part of the problem. It is not easy to sever these ties because they are bound in shared memories, in laughter, in the warmth of companionship. You remember their good moments, you tell yourself they did not mean harm, you believe the bond is worth preserving. Yet what you preserve is not friendship. It is a chain that tightens around your spirit with every passing day. Men destroy themselves by failing to act where courage is demanded, and so it is here. The great problem we solve is not merely that of identifying the enemy disguised as a friend. It is also the problem of having the courage to admit the truth, to look directly at the faces of those around you and ask, "Are you my ally or my executioner in disguise?" He who does not recognize the nature of men will always be deceived by their appearance. These are not empty words, but a truth tested in the courts of princes and the chambers of power. To survive in this world, one must learn to see not with the eyes of sentiment, but with the eyes of strategy. You must observe your friends not as companions of leisure, but as players upon a stage, each with motives concealed behind masks. And if you fail to pierce these masks, then you, like so many rulers before you, will be undone by those you trusted most. The problem of toxic friends cannot be solved by kindness, by pleading, by giving them another chance. No, it must be solved by adopting a sharper vision, one forged in the fires of necessity, the vision of the prince who knows that loyalty is rare and betrayal is common, a ruler who treats every smile as genuine, every word as honest, will not rule for long. Likewise, a man or woman who assumes that every friend is true will soon find themselves impoverished, weakened, and diminished by those who were allowed too close. Understand this, life itself is a battlefield. It may not be fought with swords and armies in your daily existence, but the strategies are the same. You are surrounded by alliances, rivalries, hidden interests, and shifting loyalties. In such a landscape, a prince who seeks to survive must know who strengthens his throne and who secretly undermines it. The same is demanded of you. Your friends are your court. Some are advisors, some are servants of your cause, but others are spies, opportunists, and traitors, awaiting the moment to turn your generosity into their gain. And do you know why they succeed? Because most people are blind. They walk through life as though the world were ruled by fairness, as though affection were proof of loyalty, as though the word friend alone carried any weight. But those who live by illusion are destined for ruin. It is not the honest enemy that defeats them. It is the false companion who whispers in their ear. The Machiavellian lens is not a tool of cruelty, it is a weapon of survival. When you learn to observe as a prince does, you no longer ask, "Do they laugh with me? Do they share my table? Do they call me their closest companion?" No. You ask, "What do they gain from me? What do they lose without me? Do they celebrate my strength, or do they secretly desire my downfall?" In asking these questions, you will see reality as it is, stripped of the soft veils that make betrayal possible. Let me remind you, a ruler who trusts too freely is not loved more for his openness. He is despised for his weakness. And in your own life, the same law applies. If you excuse the envy, if you tolerate the manipulation, if you turn your eyes away from the whispers, you do not buy loyalty. You invite contempt. For men are opportunistic by nature. Many will take what is offered freely and demand more, and only a rare few will protect what is entrusted to them. This is not cynicism. This is the raw law of human conduct, visible in every age, in every court, in every circle of companions. The toxic friend thrives in shadows because you have not yet learned to rule your own life, as a prince rules his dominion. When you master the Machiavellian lens, you cease to look at friendship as sacred. Instead, you measure it. Who empowers me? Who diminishes me? Who speaks of loyalty yet acts in betrayal? With these questions, you tear away the illusions that blind most men until their final breath. Look at history. Emperors toppled not by invading armies, but by the closest advisors at their side. Caesars betrayed not by foreign kings, but by senators who swore allegiance. And what are your toxic friends, if not the same breed of traitors in miniature? They do not command armies, but they erode your will. They do not hold daggers, but their words wound as sharply. They do not march against you in open defiance. They remain close, wearing the face of trust until the very moment they strike. This is why the Machiavellian view is essential. Without it, you stumble in darkness, prey to every parasite that calls itself a companion. With it, you acquire sight sharper than any blade. You begin to recognize envy in the tone of a compliment, betrayal in the silence of absent defense, manipulation in the guise of counsel. Where others see only laughter and companionship, you see motives, intentions, hidden designs. You may ask, is it not cold to live this way? To measure each bond as though it were a matter of power and advantage? But I tell you, it is far colder to awaken one day and realize that your life has been drained, your ambitions mocked, and your strength destroyed by those you never suspected. Warmth is an illusion if it hides the slow work of poison. Better to see clearly and act decisively than to remain blind in the comfort of lies. A prince who cannot recognize the nature of his companions will soon find himself ruled by them. In every circle, in every age, the same patterns repeat. False friends take different shapes, but their essence is eternal. They are actors playing roles, and once you learn their masks, you will see them everywhere. Tonight, let me reveal to you 5 archetypes, the faces of those who claim loyalty but secretly erode your life. The first is the Leech. You know this one, though perhaps you have not dared to speak it aloud. They feed on you ceaselessly, taking your time, your energy, your resources, never satisfied, never balanced. Their friendship is a bottomless hunger disguised as need. You give, they take. You give again, they demand more. And yet, when you are empty, when you require their hand in return, they vanish into silence or offer excuses. Like parasites that cannot exist without the host, they survive only by draining you, and here lies the cruelty. They cloak their dependence in innocence. They say, you're the only one who understands me, or I couldn't do this without you. But their gratitude is temporary, their appetite permanent. If you were a prince, they would be the courtier who drains the treasury until your people starve. You must see them for what they are, not companions, but consumers. Then comes the saboteur. Their laughter is loudest when you fail. Their comfort appears in your misery, but notice their silence when you succeed. They congratulate with words, but their eyes betray them. They smolder with quiet delight when life strikes you down. And worse, they do not merely wait for your downfall. They prepare it. They plant doubts in your mind. They discourage your ambition. They dismiss your plans with gentle ridicule. They say, are you sure you're capable? Isn't that too risky? Don't you think you're reaching too far? But these are not the words of caution. They are the whispers of sabotage. A ruler who listens to such men loses battles before they are fought. And you, if you heed this friend, will abandon your crown before it ever touches your head. The third is the envious shadow. Envy is a poison that does not kill swiftly, but it corrodes every bond it touches. This friend mimics your victories, copies your gestures, admires your gains. Yet behind admiration lies resentment. They cannot bear to see you rise, for each step you take upward reminds them of their own mediocrity. Their congratulations are hollow, their praise thinly veiled. They will disguise their bitterness as concern, saying, I just don't want you to get hurt, or I hope you're not getting ahead of yourself. But envy cannot be disguised forever. Sooner or later, it reveals itself in small betrayals, in withheld support, in subtle attempts to pull you back into the shadows where they reside. A prince who allows envy to linger in his court soon finds daggers waiting in the dark. You who allow such a friend will find your spirit chained by their silent curses. The fourth is the puppet master. This is no fool, no passive consumer. This one is cunning, deliberate, calculated. They manipulate your choices, whispering in your ear, guiding your path, not for your benefit, but for theirs. They are the hidden hand behind your decisions, steering you toward outcomes that strengthen them while weakening you. The puppet master often disguises themselves as your wisest counselor, the one who always knows better, who insists their advice is for your own good. But if you trace the pattern, you will see every road they guide you down leads to their profit, their advantage, their triumph. If you were a prince, they would be the minister who rules from the shadows while you wear the crown in name only. In truth, they make you their pawn, and pawns are always sacrificed when the game demands it. And finally, there is the silent betrayer. This is the most insidious of all, for they wear the mask of loyalty flawlessly. They speak to you with kindness, defend you to your face, share your wine and your laughter. But when your back is turned, their tongue sharpens. They poison your name with whispers, sow doubts about you and others, use your trust as currency to elevate themselves. This betrayal is subtle, hidden beneath layers of charm and familiarity. You will not hear their treachery directly. It will arrive back to you distorted, a rumor, a strange silence where once there was support. And by the time you realize the damage is done, the silent betrayer is the smiling guest who opens the gates to the enemy at night. They require no weapon but words, and words, once released, cannot be recalled. These are the 5 faces of treachery disguised as companionship. They are eternal, as present in the courts of kings as they are in the lives of ordinary men. The leech drains your strength. The saboteur celebrates your downfall. The envious shadow resents your rise. The puppet master bends your will. The silent betrayer poisons your name. And until you learn to recognize them, you will mistake poison for wine, treachery for loyalty, chains for bonds of friendship. The disease of betrayal cannot be cured with kindness. It must be cut out with the knife of resolve. What use is it to recognize the leech, the saboteur, the envious shadow, the puppet master, and the silent betrayer, if you lack the courage to act against them? To see clearly is the beginning, but vision without execution is weakness, and weakness is the soil in which treachery thrives. The solution is not mercy, nor negotiation, nor hoping these companions will change. Men rarely change their nature. A parasite does not become a benefactor. An envious heart does not learn to rejoice. A traitor does not transform into a loyal defender. To cling to such illusions is to chain yourself willingly. The solution, therefore, is surgical removal. Cold, decisive, merciless. As a prince removes disloyal advisors from his court, so must you remove toxic friends from your circle. Not with hesitation, not with apology, but with the precision of one who values his throne, his power, his peace above the comfort of false companionship. But before you wield the knife, understand this truth: every cut will demand pain. To sever such ties is not easy, for they are woven with memory, with laughter, with years of shared existence. That is why so many tolerate their destroyers. They fear the sting of loss more than the slow death of betrayal. And yet, what is more dangerous? To feel pain once, in the decisive act of separation, or to endure 1,000 quiet betrayals until your very spirit is hollowed out. A ruler who cannot sacrifice one disloyal noble for the sake of his kingdom soon loses the kingdom itself. Likewise, if you cannot cut away one false friend, you will sacrifice your future for the comfort of the present. The solution requires that you weigh your bonds like gold upon a scale. Ask yourself, what does this friend bring me? Do they add strength, wisdom, joy, courage, or do they extract, manipulate, diminish, and poison? If the answer is the latter, the scales are unbalanced and balance must be restored by removal. This is not cruelty, it is justice. A ruler who allows his kingdom to starve while feeding traitors is not merciful, he is foolish. And when you cut, you must cut clean. Half measures are fatal. Do not keep the saboteur half close, hoping they will one day learn to applaud your victories. Do not entertain the puppet master, thinking you can control the one who has already mastered control over you. Do not keep the silent betrayer within earshot, convincing yourself that loyalty can be coaxed from treachery. These are lies men tell themselves to avoid decisive action, but indecision is the ally of betrayal. If you must sever, do so completely. Do not drift back to them in weakness. Do not reopen the gates once closed. For they will return not reformed, but emboldened, knowing that your defenses are fragile. Consider again the example of princes. When a traitor is discovered in the court, the ruler does not reduce their pay, does not scold them, does not beg for better conduct. He eliminates them. The lesson is engraved upon all who remain. Loyalty is demanded, betrayal is death. In your life, the same principle holds, though without executions. The removal itself is enough. When you cut ties with the toxic, those who remain will know that your loyalty is not to be squandered. that your circle is not a pasture for parasites. But here removal is not enough on its own. Once the poison is expelled, you must protect yourself from its return. The solution is not only in cutting, but in fortifying. A prince surrounds himself with allies of proven loyalty, those who strengthen his reign instead of eroding it. You, too, must cultivate true companions, rare as they may be. You must measure new faces not by their smiles, but by their actions. Loyalty is proven in sacrifice, in silence when gossip tempts, in steadfastness when storms strike. One loyal friend is worth more than 10 false ones, for the loyalty of one can elevate you, while the betrayal of many can destroy you. Therefore, your solution is twofold: the ruthless elimination of the toxic, and the careful cultivation of the loyal. This requires constant vigilance. It demands that you never again mistake charm for character, that you never again confuse proximity with loyalty, that you never again ignore the small betrayals because they are delivered with laughter. A prince cannot afford to forget the laws of power, and neither can you. The world does not reward blindness, it punishes it. And let me tell you the final truth: the greatest solution is sovereignty. Sovereignty over your time, your energy, your mind. When you reclaim these from the hands of the false, you stand stronger, sharper, freer. Toxic friends cannot ruin a life unless they are permitted entry, and the moment you shut the gates, their power dissolves. In that act, you reclaim your throne. The ruin of men does not come from enemies outside the gates, but from the traitors seated within. You have now seen the faces of false friendship. You have peered through the mask of affection and glimpsed the parasite beneath. You understand the nature of men, and you understand that the cost of blindness is destruction. The Leech, the Saboteur, the Envious Shadow, the Puppet Master, the Silent Betrayer. These are not strangers, but companions you may already hold close. Their poison is subtle, their chains invisible, but their effect is certain: the slow erosion of your will, your joy, your empire. But vision without action is folly. A prince who recognizes treachery yet allows it to linger is no better than the fool who never saw it at all. Power is preserved not by pity, but by decisiveness. If you wish to rule your life as a sovereign rules his state, you must cut without hesitation, fortify without apology, and surround yourself only with those whose loyalty has been proven in fire. Remember this: better to walk with one true ally than to feast with a hall of traitors. Better to endure solitude than to be chained by false companionship. For loyalty is rare, but once found, it is worth more than gold, more than armies, more than the applause of the masses. So choose wisely, observe mercilessly, cut decisively. Only then will you reclaim your throne, not merely over others, but over yourself.